Man Choi is a South Korean mixed martial artist standing at 218 centimeters, 7 feet 2, and with a body weight that's been up to 175.5 kilograms, 387 pounds. The Korean monster's unbelievable size meant he was able to overcome opponents vastly more experienced, but this also worked against him as he was fast-tracked to fight some of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. Choi, with his huge size and some notable victories, was getting noticed all around the world, and even Shaquille O'Neal was interested in fighting him.
Man Choi, that's your name? Yeah, I'm coming for you. Don't worry about it. I'm retired next year, 2 years. I'm coming for you.
Age 25, Choi entered the highest level of kickboxing at the K1 World Grand Prix, where he won his debut via TKO 1 minute 40 into the first round. Choi began to have great success at this elite level. In his first 10 fights, he won 9, beating fighters such as Oliver McCall, the boxer who had beaten Lennox Lewis and Larry Holmes, and also he defeated Semi Schilt, a 4 times K1 kickboxing world champion. In those 10 fights, he lost just 1 by a controversial decision to Remy Bonjasky, a 3 times K1 kickboxing world champion himself. Choi was proving he was a massive handful for any fighter on the planet. Now that Choi was having great success, his confidence was growing as he towered over his opponents. And it wasn't long before an MMA promotion came calling. His first fight was against Bobby Olagun, who he destroyed in just 16 seconds. This incredible run of victories since Choi's career began against elite opponents turned out to be a double-edged sword, as Choi and his management's confidence grew so high that they decided to take a fight against undefeated 28-0 Fedor Emelianenko in MMA, a decision they would live to regret. Despite losing in under 2 minutes, it had been a valiant display from Choi against one of MMA's all-time great heavyweights. However, this loss severely damaged Choi's confidence, and it became a clear mark of where his career began to go into downfall. Choi was very muscular and had good speed and endurance for a giant. However, his size soon caught up with him and he had serious medical conditions, including a brain tumor removed. Inexplicably, just a few months later, he was put into a fight against another legend of MMA, Mirko Cro Cop. Choi actually did amazingly well, lasting 6.5 minutes in that fight. However, his speed clearly in decline, and eventually a kick would finish him off. A big money fight was then set up for Brock Lesnar, who had just come to MMA from WWE Wrestling to fight Hongman Choi in the main event. However, sadly, Choi wasn't able to pass the medical. You can see the difference in size between him and the huge Brock Lesnar here, though. In a sad story, but one that we see far too often in the fight game, Hongman Choi continued his career far too long, sometimes having breaks of up to 5 years, but then going back to fighting. He had matches against huge men such as Akebono and Bob Sapp, who themselves usually dwarf their opponents but look small next to the real-life giant Hongman Choi. Towards the end of his career, Choi went in against opponents such as Toyota. Choi weighed 40 kilograms less than in his peak and sadly suffered some brutal knockouts. He would keep on fighting and because of his huge size would still be able to defeat some opponents and carried on getting some victories. However, in amongst them was some very heavy losses. Sadly, Hongman Choi just wasn't the man he used to be. However, in his prime, Hongman Choi had been probably the most accomplished giant we've ever seen in mixed martial arts, beating some elite level opponents and causing everybody he fought against huge problems. He will forever be in the memories of anybody that saw him fight at his prime. Let me know in the comments, did you ever see him fight? Thanks for watching guys, and I'll be back with another video very soon.